Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Folks, I just heard a story that's absolutely wild. A former Ripple employee who is now working at BlackRock, which of course is the world's largest asset manager, about $10 trillion in assets under management. This guy's now working at BlackRock after leaving Ripple, and he's working as the head of digital assets there. And this is the guy that convinced Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, to create a Bitcoin ETF. I kid you not. And it's more interesting though because while this guy was working at Ripple, he actually created a model. He co-authored a model that predicted a price for XRP of, on the high end, if very successful, $32.91. And so that's highly successful in terms of actually being adopted. And by the way, that's pretty cool considering that he was mostly factoring in XRP, and if you read through the thing, he was mostly factoring in XRP as a bridge currency and a store of value, and he still came up with, on the high end of highly successful, $32.91. But of course, XRP has greater utility than just that. So, if you've been in the community, in the XRP community for a while, you've probably heard of the XRP price model that I'm referencing. But I was kind of honestly taken aback when I was hearing this story and I heard the name that I heard. I was like, what, the Ripple employee? That's the reason we have a Bitcoin ETF with BlackRock? Kind of wild here. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Damn it. So what's the model that I was talking about? Well, again, like I said, if you've been around for a while, you're probably already well aware of this thing. It's been well discussed within the community for almost 6 years at this point, frankly. It's titled A Fundamental Valuation Framework for Crypto Assets, authored by Robert Mitchnick and Susan Athey. Robert Mitchnick is the former Ripple employee who went on to work at BlackRock, and ultimately he went on to convince Larry Fink that he needed to have the firm push for a Bitcoin ETF, which is good for the entire crypto space. And it kind of makes you wonder, might XRP be next? Because I get the sense that at least back then, Robert Mitchnick, pretty pro XRP. That would be my guess right there. If he hated XRP, I don't think he would have been working for Ripple. I don't think that his name would be on this model. I think he would have had nothing to do with it. And again, the focus of this video is not to run through this model. I have highlighted this in great detail in the past. I will highlight for a second Robert Mitchnick. That's him right there. I'm not going to read through his whole little about the authors section, but that's him right there, back in 2018. And if you go down to page 20, you can see, and again, this is if wildly successful, his model came out to $32.91. That's the high estimate right there. And on the low side, it would have been $6.37. Now, we've had a lot of adoption in crypto in the last 6 years. And yes, because of the SEC, XRP has less adoption, has had less price action than it otherwise would have. But still, it's always fascinating to me to see that there was this recognition of the importance of utility. Because even in 2017, when I had been in crypto for like all of 1 minute, I was like, utility is what matter. Like either the stuff is going to do something or it's not, which is why I was so attracted to XRP from the very beginning. That's the reason I've been holding XRP for over 6 years, and I still believe that my investment thesis, which is that utility matters and will win the day, I believe that still makes sense here. So check out this story because, again, this is pretty wild that this is the case. And again, I can't help but wonder, given that he pushed and persuaded successfully, according to this account, persuaded Larry Fink to approve this and move forward with this spot Bitcoin ETF application, which did get approved by the SEC. Could we see something, a similar push for XRP in the future? And just knowing how much money is at stake here and understanding that XRP is going to, it does now have long-term viability, I'm just sitting here wondering why the hell wouldn't that happen at some point in the future, even if it's not going to happen imminently. And I don't think it is going to happen imminently. Not even this year. Even if there's an application, I think it'll just get denied. Well, because Gary Gensler's in charge, but in the future, sure. But anyway, so this is the post I came across. This was posted yesterday afternoon from Scott Melker, the Wolf of All Streets. Shared this with 936,000 followers on social media platform X. It's a 58-second video, and I transcribed it, so I'm going to share with you exactly what was said in the clip. And here's what the Wolf of All Streets wrote. Larry Fink has effectively become the world's leading promoter for Bitcoin. Many think his intentions are bad. I asked Anthony Scaramucci if Fink has been legitimately orange-pilled, and he shared a personal story with Larry Fink that proves he has. Epic. And so this is who's being referenced right here. This is Anthony Scaramucci, for those of you looking at the screen, founder and managing partner at Skybridge Capital, which has about $2 billion in assets under management. That's the latest figure I could find. Anyway, that was made public. And so here's what Anthony Scaramucci had to say. This is a quote. I met with Larry Fink in November 2021. He says, "You really like this Bitcoin?" I said, "I do." And then he looked at me and said, "Bitcoin sucks." I just gotta pause to say, that made me laugh when I heard him say that. Bitcoin sucks. The sophisticated CEO at BlackRock, $10 trillion under management. Bitcoin sucks. Anyway, the transcription continues. I said, "Well, Larry, okay, I think you're wrong. I just think you need to do more homework." Now there's a guy named Robbie Mitchnick at BlackRock. He's a young kid. He came into BlackRock with the idea of creating a Bitcoin ETF. He orange-pilled Larry. And I'm going to give Larry a lot of credit because Larry actually did the homework. Larry did a reversal as a result of being steeped in understanding exactly what it is and why it will be an international store of value. It takes a very smart leader to pridefully say, Bitcoin sucks, and then 24 months later say, you know what? I've got this wrong. BlackRock needs to be a part of this. End quote. Okay, so this is kind of a secondhand account, but why am I, really absorbing this one? Why do I think that it has credence? Well, check this out. A couple things first. Let me comment on Larry Fink and whether or not he's genuine, because here's the deal. Larry Fink never admitted he was wrong. He basically just said that the ecosystem surrounding Bitcoin got better and was no longer primarily used for nefarious purposes. Internally, yes, people working with him know he was orange-pilled. But he did, he did have too much pride to admit to the general public that he was wrong. And so rather than come out and say, I was wrong about Bitcoin, which he never did, he said, well, things have changed. There's been this evolution. And that's what he said. That's public facing. That's the message he's put forward here. Now, internally, you can see that's not true. And so I think Anthony Scaramucci might be giving Larry Fink a little bit too much trouble because he doesn't have the pride to come out and say, no, I was wrong. Or maybe he even just thought that would be a bad look, that he was so confident that it was bad. And then in such a short period, 24 months later, he's changed his mind. So is what it is. Although technically, when he had the public-facing comment about the nefarious intent, I think it was well before 2021. I didn't look it up before recording this video, but wasn't that like, was it 2019 or something? I'd have to look it up again. I thought that it was longer ago than that. But anyway, so the reason that Anthony Scaramucci knows, and this is why you should take what he says with a a certain level of I guess trust, if you want to say. The reason that Anthony Scaramucci knows this, the reason he knows this happened, and this is the case, this is how it unfolded, is because he worked directly with Robert Mitchnick. That's right, Anthony Scaramucci worked directly with Robert Mitchnick. And so Mitchnick got Scaramucci to invest $10 million with BlackRock in this endeavor. And so that kind of showed that there was this outside demand for this financial product. And so ultimately, that's one of the things that led to Larry Fink understanding that, yes, there's actual real-world demand. This is an actual thing. And then presumably, he actually did the research to at least have a better understanding about the whole ecosystem of Bitcoin and broadly crypto, so that he could say something more sophisticated than Bitcoin sucks. So I'm hoping that, Robert Mitchnick, knowing what he knows about XRP specifically, I'm hoping that he can, we got to sway him in a direction of, getting a spot XRP ETF application in motion. Though, again, I'm not confident that BlackRock's going to get that approved anytime soon, or even apply for it anytime soon. I won't be surprised if somebody applies relatively soon. But it just seems to me that's not something that's going to be happening tomorrow. But either way, I thought this story was cool as hell. It's just like Ripple, anything of consequence in crypto, just about. It's just like there's something that leads back to Ripple and or XRP in almost every case. It's just amazing. It's just such a crucial part of what crypto has evolved into, and just that's at the core of it. And so it's just kind of neat to see that Robert Mitchnick, who thinks that XRP could be worth a veritable fortune in the future, has Larry Finks here. Just saying. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.